Let's go over how to interpret your pain. Pain is complicated and it reacts different ways to different stimuli. But if we frame it like this, we can make it a little bit easier on how to interpret pain. I'm going to show you how to go over the traffic light guide for interpreting your pain. So we're going to start here. On this graph, this is pain on the y-axis, and this is time. So we'll call this a 10 out of 10 pain, which is a very high level of pain, and this is 0. This is no pain at all. So let's start with this figure right here. This column here is your red light actions. So if you have no pain at all, and you do a movement, activity, or put yourself in a position that produces your pain, and that makes it worse afterwards, that's a red light. That activity, movement, or position needs to be altered or avoided for right now as you go through healing. Okay, that's pretty obvious. Likewise, if you start with pain and we increase pain and then it gets worse afterwards, notice that worse after, that's the common theme for the red light. We should slow that down and figure out what's going on and why you can't do that movement, activity, or position. Now we move over to the yellow light. If you are doing something that produces your pain and that is not worse afterwards, that's okay. We should proceed with caution. Doesn't mean we could just push through it, but it means that it's not making you worse, and that's okay. We're going to interpret it as a yellow light. If you already have pain and you increase your pain and it's not worse afterwards, that's also yellow light. Proceed with caution. And then if you decrease your pain from a starting point of already having pain, if you decrease it, but then it's not better, it doesn't stay better, again, that's a yellow light. So now we move over to the green light, movements, activities, and positions. Think of that as like your map to guide you on where to go, those movements, activities, and positions. If you have pain and you do something that decreases it and it stays better, it's sustainably better for whether it's a short period of time or for hours, that's a green light movement, activity, or position. Likewise, if you abolish your pain, completely get rid of it with a movement, activity, or position, and it stays away, that is also a green light. The correct interpretation of your pain is what's really going to help you go through healing. Healing is a spectrum. We'd love for healing to just happen smoothly and regularly, but it doesn't. There's really 3 phases of healing. There's inflammation, repair, and then remodeling. Now, once we go through those necessary steps, in order to regain our full function and stay better, like those green light behaviors, we have to correctly interpret what's going on to push us through the continuum of healing. Remember that this healing is a continuum. So tissue can get irritated while it's in the repair phase and go back to the inflammatory phase. So in order to push it along towards that remodeling phase so that the tissue becomes durable and you can function again, we have to be able to interpret what those movements, activities, and positions are doing to the tissue. It is very common for someone to get stuck in one of these phases. You can get stuck in inflammation or repair for a long time if we're not doing the proper movements, activities, and positions to move us along the healing continuum.